y'all. Welcome back. Ghetto Girls Love God, episode 9. I am your host, Brianna. I am so excited to be here and to be on episode 9. Like, I honestly just didn't see this for myself. I guess I'm still in a state of shock of knowing, like, I did it and to know where I am mentally while I'm doing it. But before I go any farther, I would like to encourage you guys to remember to like, comment, subscribe, catch my little clips on Instagram just when you need a little daily encouragement. Ghetto Girls Love God on Instagram. But back into what I was talking about. I started this podcast I want to say about May, but I dropped June 3rd. I do remember that day. I dropped like the beginning of the summer. But also this was right after I found out that I was no longer going to be working at a school, to be very transparent. I'm put y'all in my business a little bit. So with finding out that I was no longer going to be working, I was like, okay, well, God gave me something else to do. But with doing the podcast, I also still had in the back of my head, like, I need to have this situated. I need to have that planned out. Like, I still got bills at the end of the day. And if you're anything like me, you want to plan things out. You feel like nothing can happen without a plan. You need to control. You need to have everything like ducks in a row, right? So I was like, talking to friends, listening to sermons, things like that. And I already knew I was in like a waiting season, but I wasn't aware of what it means to be in your waiting season. So I used to look at a waiting season. Well, I didn't really look at it as punishment, but it felt like punishment. It felt like when I wasn't doing something like tangible or working on something that I felt like was a part of my plan, I felt like I wasn't getting anything done. And then I was like, is God going to be upset that I'm just sitting around? Like, your waiting season make you feel lazy. It makes you feel like you're just not doing enough. And it's very discouraging. But, as humans, we are result driven and we do things with like the eager expectation of getting the end result. But when you are in a waiting season, you kind of feel like, you hear faith without work is dead. So you kind of think you need to work. To wait means to be still. When in biblical terms, your waiting season is to trust. It's to have hope. It's to anticipate great things from the Lord. So while in my season before I got like the confirmation or the clarity that I needed. And believe it or not, I got that right before recording this. I wanted to talk about the waiting season, but I also was a little discouraged because of where I was mentally, and I had to read about it right before recording. So it made this episode even more exciting because it's like, I know that I'm not the only person that goes through this, like these days of feeling like my life is on repeat. Like every day starts to look the same. And it causes me to self-sabotage. It causes me to feel like it has to be more that I could be doing or I could be planning or something. And it is so refreshing when you come across information or God sends someone to have a conversation with you to let you know that you are right where He needs you to be. So with being in my waiting season, I was a little sad. I was like, I ain't gonna say a little sad. I was a lot of sad. I felt like bills are coming up. I'm talking 10, 15 applications a week. I'm applying here. I'm applying stuff I don't even want to do. I'm just like, I have to do something because otherwise, if something goes wrong, it's my fault or it's going to look like I didn't do enough. And, it started to feel like punishment. I had to learn that your waiting season is a pruning season. It's to prepare you. It's to build your trust with God because there are times where that's it. All you have is your trust or trusting Him to feel like He's going to take care of it. It's like we know that God has full control, But when it looks like nothing's happened, we think that that's our time to step in and do something or help God speed up the process. When in all reality, in those moments of not having anything to do, God really just wants us to talk to him more, have more faith in him, run to him, understand, or like get rest and find peace in knowing he's gonna take care of it. Whether you see it or whether you have a timeline or a plan or not, he's gonna take care of it. But in that moment of feeling like I wasn't doing enough and not knowing how things were gonna work out, I found myself kind of like grieving my plan. Like I was real sad and I was like, I thought I had it all planned out. My podcast was doing great. And then, how everything, like something new starts and it's a big boom and my podcast is everywhere. Everybody's posting. And then it kind of withers down. It kind of simmers and it becomes the everyday, regular, everybody back to their schedule. And I'm like, was it just a right quick? Is it really going to go somewhere? Do I need to do more? Should I post more? Do I need to record? And I started questioning everything that I was doing. Like I had my brain in a knot. I was telling Jade that like I feel like my brain is in a knot and I'm trying to get it out and I got to use my teeth. Like I just couldn't, find the silver lining in what it was that I was doing. But previously I read the book of Lamentations. Now Lamentations is 5 chapters. 5 chapters. There's 22 verses in each chapter. I think chapter 3 is probably the longest. I read that in maybe 30 minutes. But Lamentations, the word Lamentations means it's a passionate expression of like grief. It's sadness. So starting to read Lamentations, Zion is a city. But when you read Lamentations, it's described as if it's a person. So when it says like she was filled with people and now, it's kind of like a ghost town. But all in all, Lamentations is talking about the destruction of the city of Zion. And in Lamentations, I want to say verse 3, chapter 26, it says, "It is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord." There goes that word wait again. So in reading this, I was like, wait for his salvation. Wait and do what? That's why I was like, okay, they keep saying wait for God and wait for God, but wait and do what? And in that moment of reading this, I started to tap into, okay, what does it mean to wait? What is your waiting season? What are you supposed to do in your waiting season? And I read, waiting is not about what you will receive at the end. Waiting is about what you will become as you wait. So knowing that working for God is work. Me building my faith, reading my Bible, spreading his word, that is work. So I had to encourage myself to realize I'm waiting on God to tell me what to do next or to show me what to do next or for him to make the next move. But my work isn't going undone. Coming on here every week and telling y'all the goodness of his plan and to trust him and to have faith, and that's work. Trusting him is work. Having faith in him is work. Rescuing yourself from your own plans is work. Trusting that God's plan is greater than yours is work. Faith without work is dead. So if I'm working in a way that even if I don't understand what it is that I'm doing, or even if I feel like I should be doing more, I had to find comfort in realizing fighting my flesh is work. Trying to find the joys in the days that look still is work. Sometimes the very beginning of your waiting season, every day is going to look the same. I mean, my days started to look the same, and then the thoughts of, you're lazy, get up, go do this, go here, you should be doing it. It's like your brain or your own self-sabotaging will have you thinking that there's so much more for you to do. And then I had to sit and realize, like, okay, I don't work right now. In order to get a job, you have to apply for it. If I've applied to 1 billion jobs and nothing's happened. And let me tell you how God works. He'll move everything around you to see if your faith and your trust is going to wither away. Me, Jade, and my friend Cam all applied for the same school, and they started. They work together now. I got hired at a business, a place. I didn't want to go too deep into detail, but I got hired somewhere where I really did want to work. And when they hired me, I was like, okay, I got hired on this day, and if I start right now, then I'm gonna get a check on this day, and then I'm gonna be able to pay this and pay that. And I had it all planned out, and I didn't start that day. I haven't started yet. They hire me on the spot, yes, but it's a job where you gotta like go through a hiring process, and I'm like, oh, I've been through plenty of hiring processes. It only take 2 or 3 days. What happens when you think those 2 or 3 days is gonna come and go, and it turns into 2 and 3 weeks? And it turns into, dang, the day I thought I would receive an income, that day is here. And I don't have a plan. And those are the days where you put your waiting season to work. You're not waiting on God to disappoint you. And that's what I had to realize. I'm not sitting around waiting and it's like, I just know it's coming. I know I'm not going to be able to, or I know it's not going to happen, or I know. You have to wait with an eager expectation that God got you. So you're not waiting on, we are so accustomed to waiting on disappointment, or to being prepared for the worst to happen. And that'll diminish everything that you work towards. It definitely was starting to diminish everything that I worked towards. I was giving up on my podcast. I was giving up on my search. I was giving up on myself because it turned into, well, do I need to spruce up my resume? Do I need to network? Should I reach out to a friend? Do I need to call my family and let them know that I'm going to need their help? And I started to beat myself up for feeling like I didn't have a plan. And then I got reassurance that trusting God's plan is a part of my plan. God has put me in a space where because I was so dependent. Let me tell y'all something. I'm running to my parents. I'm going to my mama. I'm going to my stepdaddy. I'm going to go to my brothers and sisters. I'm going to ask the father of my children. Like, if I feel like something is not going to get done, I need to hurry up and go to these people, because if they say they got me, then it's taken care of. God has put me in a season to where I can't run to any of those people. And when I say alone, not lonely, there's a difference. I'm not lonely. I'm alone in this season. And I had to find comfort in, if it's just me and God, that's exactly the way he wants it. He obviously, the people that were around me, I had to stop looking at it as God took people away. There is no loss. Obviously, they were distractions. I was getting distracted by everything around me because I was using it to criticize myself. I was using everything good that was happening to others like there's something I'm not doing because it's not happening for me. Or I got to go to these people for help. So even though I feel like they're not respecting my boundaries, or they're not respecting my mind, or they're not supporting and loving me, because I kind of need them in this moment, I'm going to just let that wither away. God has put me in a position to where put your boundaries in place, set your standards, and do nothing else. Trust me. I am in a season where I have nothing and no one but God and my faith. And I sleep like a newborn at night. There were times where my brain would be so built up with what I could do that I'm losing rest. God says, find peace in knowing that I'm going to take care of it. Get your rest. Go to bed, baby. There's nothing more you could do. And I had to say it out of my mouth one day. Like, you're doing everything God asked you to do. Fight your flesh. Your flesh, your humanly instinct, your result-driven human instincts are going to make you feel like there's so much more you could be doing. But when you are doing what God called you to do, you got to kind of wait for him. You're doing the work for him. That's like at any job. You have a boss. If your boss say, all right, there's 3 things I need you to do by Friday, and he tell you the first thing to do, can you do the second one without his instruction? And do you harass your boss? Do you feel like, you know what, he ain't tell me the second step to take, so I'm just about to try to figure it out. Maybe I'm supposed to do this. Maybe I'm supposed to do that. You're liable to bring the whole company down trying to figure out what it is that your boss, I know my boss wanted me to do 3 things, but because he didn't tell me the other 2, I'ma just do what I think I'm supposed to do. No, you wait. It's the same way with God. It's the same. And like I tell you all the time, I'm talking to myself too. It's the same way with God. He's going to tell you what to do next, but trust that he's going to tell you what to do next. Trust that he's going to give you the instruction. And if he don't, wait. Wait. Just wait. And don't sit around and wait with worry, or wait with fear, or wait with panic. Read your Bible. If you're on TikTok, good. Create an algorithm that works for your future. Right now, if I scroll TikTok, baby, it's nothing but scriptures. It's nothing but scriptures. It's nothing but reassurance. It's nothing like I will go. I told Jay today, I was like, I need to go on TikTok for a little encouragement. Because there are videos that pop up that, ooh, I could go read that scripture, or I could go pull from that, but everything I do is around what God wants me to do, what he's called me to do. This podcast, I have 0 income, but this is what he asked me to do. And he put me in a position to where nothing else is working for me but this. This is the only thing that's going right now. And this is the one thing that I thought was going to fail because it was going too good. And that's a part of me that I realized I had to heal. When you come from a place of feeling like nothing is really good enough, or I do something and something else is expected, you wear yourself down with expectations. You always feel like there's more. Less is more sometimes. Less interaction gets you more results. Less conversation, you get to hear more. Less reaction, you get to process more. Less is more. So I realized the least amount of effort that I put into stuff that's probably not even benefiting my purpose, the more I get to bond with God and hear God and just relax. It feels so good to not worry, or to know like whatever happens is not my fault. It's not my plan. It's not my doing. Anything that happens, it's clearly what God wanted to happen. There are situations that I replay in my head that I'm like, that was orchestrated. That was planned. I wasn't supposed to be there. I wasn't supposed to go there. I wasn't supposed to talk to that person. I didn't know that person. Like, everything is orchestrated. So if I can come here and talk about God's plan and what he has and his purpose and how good it is, I also have to be confident in saying it never happens when you want it to happen. It happens right on time. And on time for us doesn't look the same as on time for God, but it's always on time. Always on time. Nothing goes no good behavior goes unrewarded. God says, if you keep your faith in me, if you trust in me, that'll save you. That'll save you from so much stuff that you put yourself through. It is in this season that your faith is tested. It is in the waiting season that your faith is tested the most. To have faith in God is to believe that he is going to. It says, what is that? Jeremiah 26:11. For I know the plans that I have for you. God doesn't plan demise for any of us. There is no bad plan. God does not plan for any of us to turn out bad. But some of us are meant to carry out specific duties for him. And we are the ones that have to I had to reach a place of knowing, even though I'm questioning the things that I'm talking about, I still have that much faith to come and tell y'all that it's going to work, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know what God's next step. So I have no idea what my next source of income is. I haven't received a check from my podcast. I don't work at a school anymore. I haven't heard back from the job that literally hired me on the spot. I don't know his next plans. But Faith is coming here recording right now and letting y'all know I'm going to do great. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be straight. It's already worked out. And I get so much excitement. There are mornings where I wake up, I got my kids ready for school yesterday, dropped them off, came home, laid down, took a nap. By the time I woke up, it was time for them to come home from school. What more could I have done? And that's the thing I have to sit and tell myself, and we have to sit and think about it for real. When you want something so bad and you plan it out and the plan doesn't go like that, what else are you to do? Beat yourself up about it? Nothing is in our control for real. As a human, you want to believe that, but nothing is in our control for real. So when you make a plan and it don't go like that, the best thing you can do for yourself is to trust that your plan and God's plan didn't align, and his plan is better than yours, always. God's plan surpasses anything we've ever expected. So I sit like this episode. I sit and I will write verbatim how I want to say it. And it never goes like that. But the message gets across how it's supposed to, because he had already planned on how he was going to use me and how this conversation was going to go and what I was supposed to say in this episode. And even though I had it planned out and I tried to stick to my notes, his plan was better. It's going to work out for the better. And I encourage myself, but also I encourage everybody, if you are in a season of waiting, do just that. But don't wait and worry. Don't wait and panic. Don't wait in fear. Build your relationship with God in those seasons. Have faith. Build your trust. And to do those things, trust in God is to say, God, these are my plans. This is what I want for myself, but I am trusting that what you want for me is better. So I'm placing these wants at your feet. I'm placing my worries and my wants and my desires and my fears. I'm giving it to you because I know the way you work is for my betterment. So maybe my plans and my desires, they don't align with yours because it's not for who I'm becoming. Only God knows the next day. Only God knows tomorrow. Only God knows where we're headed in our future and who we are becoming. But we have to stay on his path to become who it is that he wants us to become. And we have to, in order to become who he wants us to become, we have to trust his plan. I have to completely let go. Not let go a little bit, not hold on to it with my pinky, not keep looking back to see if God right there. Trust is sitting in front of this camera every day or every week, saying what it is that God wants me to say, and trusting that next week I'm going to have a little better news for y'all. Next week, I'm going to have a little more encouragement for y'all. But also next week, I'm going to be closer to my purpose. I'm going to be closer to my plan. I'm going to be right where God wants me to be. In a season of waiting, you are right where he wants you to be. Just tap into him. So now when I feel like, dang, what could I be doing? I just read my Bible. Or what else could I be doing? I have a praise. There are so many times where I'll just cut on praise music and just find things to be grateful for. Find things to be thankful for. Like, no, I don't have that, but I have this. Yeah, it could be better, but it could be worse. Y'all know how many times I think of the date? Like today. Today is August 13th. I'll be like, okay. But think of where you was August 13th, 2023. August 13th, 2018. August 18th, 2007. Like, it could be better, yes, but it could be worse. And who's to say it's not going to get better? That's what faith and trust is. I hope that I have encouraged somebody to not lose themselves in their waiting season. And the thing is, we're all waiting for something different. But if you are watching this podcast, then I'm going to take it that you are in a season of wanting to be closer to God, or at least working on your relationship with God in some way, form, or fashion. I am encouraging you right now, on the days where you don't know what to do next, don't do anything. Thank God for where you are and trust that where you're going is exactly where you're going to want to be. I believe that my podcast is going to be something great. I believe that I'm going to heal so many people on this journey, but I also believe that no matter what I plan, God knows that that's what I want. And if that's what he wants for me, then it's going to happen. I'm going to find joy in these days where I don't know. I stopped look. Know what I have to stop looking at the waiting season as confusion and start looking at the waiting season as a surprise. Like, it's not, God don't have me in chaos or confusion. God about to surprise me. And that brings more joy to the situation. Knowing that, like, he's not trying to shock you with sorrow. He's not trying to shock you with sad days. God is about to shock you with joy and a purpose and a life that I knew I wanted this, but I'm so glad that I waited for you, God, because if I would have known that that's what you wanted for me, I would have never worried. And I find myself doing that. When God blessed me with things, I'm like, man, if I would have known this is what you had for me, I would have never cried that hard. I would have never went into depression. I would have never. And now before it gets there, we have to catch ourselves ahead of time. Before I even start to worry, I got to remember what happened the last time I worried. Before I start to panic and feel like there's so much more I could do, I need to remember what happened the last time. We lose sight of lessons that God has already shown us. We are loved and cared for and carried by the Most High. He is the Alpha and the Omega. His plans is greater than ours. Trust him and you'll find yourself living the most peaceful life. I don't work. I don't know what my next steps are. I don't know where I'm going to be next week, next month, next year. I don't know what's his plans for tomorrow, but I'm no longer worried. I'm excited. I'm so excited for what he has for me, because while I wait, we getting closer. And when you wait, those that wait on the Lord, like he said, there's salvation in waiting on the Lord. There's goodness in waiting on the Lord. So I know that I'm not waiting for nothing bad to happen. I'm waiting on what it is that I know is going to change me forever, but I have to wait with a sense of enjoyment and joy and a silver lining. And it's always a glass half full. It's never empty, never half empty. So I encourage everybody to read Lamentations. Like I said, it's real short. 5 chapters, 22 verses in each. It's real short, but it teaches you, even in sorrow, even in demise, even in confusion, God always have like this perfect, awesome plan. It's crazy. And when you are doing what God called you to do, let me tell you, you're going to feel crazy. You're going to feel so crazy waiting to hear from somebody that you can't see. You're going to feel so crazy explaining to people. Let me tell y'all, when I was looking for a job and my mom was like, well, did you try this? And did you try that? And, well, send me your resume. Maybe something wrong with I kept telling my mama, I just need to do what there's nothing more I could do. I just need to do what God is calling me to do. And I would say that out loud, but then I would go home and that little piece of worry would creep up on me. And it's like, you got to fight your flesh at the end of the day. You got to fight your flesh. Because if I would have let those little tiny thoughts turn into one big thought, we wouldn't be recording episode 9. We would be out trying to figure out what to do for tomorrow. Go to God for your daily bread. Every day we got to go to him. Every day we got to trust him. Every day we have to let him pour into us. But do that with a heart that's full, a heart that's grateful, not a heart full of sorrow, or not self-sabotaging, feeling like you're not doing something right. Walking with God, trusting God, having faith in God, that's all right. That's the path that you want to be on. That's actually the best thing you could do for yourself. God has control, but then we want to like help him speed up his process. If he have control, he have control. So whatever happens, blame it on him. Stop. Like, don't, we be so ready. Like, if it don't go like this, then it's my fault. Nope. Anything that happened, I'm blaming it on God now. And as much as that sounds crazy, it's like, every time I've been put in a position to where I had to blame it on him, it turns out great. And it turns out with me being excited to tell people it was him. God has put me in a position to where I can't say, oh yeah, well, my mama kind of helped me, or my stepdaddy kind of helped me, or no, I did pray about it, but then my kid's dad, he, gave me this, or I went to my aunt. God has put me in a position to where now, y'all, anything good that happens from today moving forward, he gets all the credit. He gets all the glory. It is all his doing. And that helps me sleep great at night. So with that being said, I hope that this encourages somebody to find wonders in your waiting season. Build your relationship with God, because it's all going to pay off. I want to encourage you again to like, comment, subscribe. Ghetto Girls Love God, episode 9. We will be back next week. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Till next time.